Alright YouTube, we are back with episode 3 in the review of the Grand Fiesta Americana Coral Beach. So the first episode was around general layout, room quality, and our excursion experience. The second episode was wrapped around restaurants and service, and the third episode is going to be around the pools and beaches. So if you want to catch those other 2 episodes, I'll link them in the description below. Check them out. And then we are on to the pools and beaches, so let's roll the bumper. Alright, so pools and beaches for this resort were both pretty good. I enjoyed both of them. So we're going to start out in the pool area. We're starting out with some tips right out of the gate. If you want good seats or you want good chairs and you have a larger party, we were there with 14 people, you're going to have to reserve the chairs. So I know this is kind of an annoyance probably for some people, especially going to resorts. But it is real. People grab their chairs early in the morning. So if you head down between 7 and 8 a.m., grab some pool towels on your way there. They have them at each of the main doors leading out to the pool. And then, throw your towel over the chairs that you're looking for, and then maybe throw some pool items that your family brought with you. Like we had some snorkels and vests for the younger kids, like pool vests and stuff like that. And we laid them on the chairs, and then nobody pretty much bothers anything. If you hear that noise, that is my dog running in his sleep, so Vader. So just throw some personal items on there. Nobody seemed to snatch anybody's stuff up. Everybody kind of seemed to leave everyone alone when it comes to reserving chairs. But it is something that you're probably going to want to do if you want a specific area or anything like that. Another tip, we're going to go right into the second tip. If you want a chair that sits in, so they have chairs that sit in a shallow area of the pool where they're a little bit in the water, so your feet are constantly in the water, and then it's kind of like a ledge or a table that the chairs can sit on. If you want those you cannot get umbrellas for. We actually asked, and they wouldn't roll their umbrellas over because obviously they're in the water and they sit away from the concrete. He's going crazy right now. So if you're sitting on that ledge, realize that you won't have an umbrella, so you're going to be sitting in the sun pretty much the entire day. So you're going to have to stay in the pool or go find a chair that's under an umbrella or head of the beach or whatever that looks like. So another tip there. The pool towels, that experience was great. Some resorts that we've been to, there's only one towel per person, and it's kind of like a whole system, and this is kind of free reign. There was lots of towels, there was lots of options. There was an attendant there sometime that they would just more or less just hand you a towel. It wasn't like they were checking them in and out. But that experience didn't seem gated or guarded or anything. The towels it was open season. So, and then you just drop them in one of the bins or the barrels at the end of the day, and that was about it. So that was cool. There are group activities as well throughout the day. And there's kind of games. So there is a water volleyball as well. There's a net setup that's there all the time. And one of the pools, it's between the third and it's kind of the third pool and the middle pool. If your back is to the ocean, if the ocean is to your back, it's between the farthest left pool and the middle pool. Other games that they have activities are they have stretching, they have water aerobics in the morning, they had a relay race game, they had a beanbag toss game where you had to knock things over in the pool. So all kinds of things. But they have people at the resort who kind of organize those things, get everybody together, and then they, you can volunteer if you want to do something like that. I don't know if there was any prizes. I know one of the guys in our party played a couple of the games. I'm not sure if I know they were giving away t-shirts at one time, but I'm not sure what else. I didn't really get involved. Normally I would, but we were kind of, all over the place through the week. Next thing I want to discuss is the pool bars. So the pool bars, they have those they have those tile concreted water chairs as well. You can sit in the water at the pool or at the pool bar. The service was good. They were quick and they were efficient. They, kept the drinks moving. There's an overhang as well at the pool bar. So if you need to get out of the sun, that's also a place, if you don't have an umbrella, you can go to. And it never seemed overly crowded, but I meant to ask the front desk what the capacity was, and I didn't get a chance to do that, so I don't know if it was a lower capacity or not. You can hear my dog walking over. Another pro tip, each pool has an elevated, I wouldn't even call this a tip, this is maybe a caution, but we'll put it into the tip section. Each pool has an elevated I don't know what you want to call it. It's almost like an elevated like shaped table inside the pools, and they have like water, water features that spray up. And kids like to like sit up on those because as you're swimming, you can like easily jump up on them. They didn't mind the kids sitting or laying on them, but when the kids were like jumping up and running around or playing in the sprinkler areas, the lifeguards would be whistling at them every time. So realize if your kids are in the pool and they're getting up on those areas, they don't want them running around. Obviously, it's a safety concern for them. So just heads up there. Pool experience is a 9 out of 10 for me. I thought the pools were really nice. They were cleaning them every night and every morning, and the service around the pool was exceptional. Once again, like we said in the last video with restaurant and service is a 10 out of 10 at this resort, and it didn't feel overcrowded. We always were able to get our chairs. Nobody tried to steal our chairs. Once again, I didn't know the hotel capacity, but everything was really smooth with the pool. Okay, let's move on to the beach. So our beach experience was quite strange because it was like transformational. So when we got there, we flew on a Friday, and we didn't really get there till later in the afternoon, but even Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday-ish, the beach was like full of seaweed. So apparently there was quite a big storm from what they told us that like pushed a bunch of seaweed in. So the water from like the beach to like probably 20, 30, 40 yards out was just brown with seaweed. So it was pretty disappointing and pretty gross. You couldn't even really get in the water, and it was just, obviously they were raking the beach, and I'll show you, there's just piles of seaweed that they're having to wheelbarrow out, and then they were using nets to try to get it out of the water, but they had to wait till it got close enough. So usually by like the middle of the following week, it really started clearing up. So beginning of the week, it was awful, obviously because of the seaweed. Midweek, it was a bit cleaner, and then by the end of that week, it was beautiful, and the water was clear enough to see your feet. So that was interesting. I've never been through something like that where seaweed was such an issue. They do have a floating water dock, which was pretty neat. I haven't seen one. I've seen one of those like on lakes, but not in an ocean, which is a cool feature. It gets pretty tricky, like and I'll show a video of when we swam out to it, and it was really, the waves were pretty decent that day. So when you get out there, getting out to it and then getting on top of it, it's like you're riding like this, giant surfboard that just goes up and down with the waves. So when you're up on that, just realize if you're going to hang out on there, if the waves are pretty decent, it's going to be a pretty fun ride, and it's not just going to be like laying out in the water if the waves are going. So heads up there. Pro tip on that, or caution, my daughter actually on one of the earlier days went out to the pool dock, and it was, she was trying to get on the ladder to get up it, and her legs like kind of swung underneath the dock and then swung back, and she got stung by a jellyfish. Don't know if it was just totally random, but realized there may be jellyfish, hanging out underneath the dock. It's just she got bit there. It could have been totally random, but heads up. Here comes my dog again. There's also a sandbar. You hit it like right before they have like a roped in section for the ocean. It's kind of right before you hit the rope. You can kind of hit the sandbar and you can stand out there, which is neat. They do have a water sports area, which is right at the end of the beach. It is extra cost for those kinds of things, but it's access right off of our beach, which is in front of like the East Tower condos. And then overall, the whole beach experience for me was like a 7 out of 10. Once again, that was mostly around the seaweed, which was early, and it wasn't really anyone's fault. It just happens through storm and nature, But the water temperature and the color were amazing by the end of the week. The water temperature was always pretty good, but obviously the colors and the blue and clear water is what we were looking for, and that came later in the week. There's not a ton of room on the sand. For if everybody that was at the pool went to the beach, it would be completely out of space. So I realize it is limited space, but not because you have both options. I never felt overcrowded, even in the water. On the beautiful days towards the end of the week, there was plenty of room to move around and everything. So overall, I give it a 7 out of 10. That's everything I have for the pool and beach area. Once again, if you have any questions or anything about it, or you have any comments, obviously leave them in the comments below, and I will find out what my dog's doing. And then on video 4, we are going to talk about Isla Mujeres, which is the island, which you can actually see from this resort. That's across the water, and we went on a trip there, so we'll cover that. All right, I'll catch everybody in the next one.